The question of what is a seed might seem simple at first, but take a deeper look and a deeper understanding, and you would be surprised to see there's a lot more that goes on than you'd think. If you are someone who wants to collect seeds or has been collecting seeds in the past from natural areas and haven't had a lot of success in germinating and sowing those seeds, perhaps it's time to take a deeper look and see exactly what's going on within those seeds so that in the future you can have better success rates at germinating them. All of the higher or more fully evolved plants produce seeds. These plants are known as angiosperms or seed-bearing plants. Seeds consist of an embryo or miniature plant, usually some form of stored food to nourish the embryo, and a protective covering. And if you doubt the importance of seeds, I challenge you to take a look at your grocery list, because I guarantee you that a lot of the foods that you buy rely on seeds, their germination, and their formation. For development of seeds, seed development starts with the flowering process. A pollen grain basically is on a stigma or a receptive surface of the female flower parts, and a pollen tube containing 2 sperm cells begins growth down the style to the ovary. Seeds develop from the fertilization or joining of one of the sperm cells with the female egg in the ovary. A seed consists of an embryo or miniature plant surrounded by an envelope of tissue. The embryo is derived or is the result of the fertilization of the egg cell in the embryo sac by the male sperm cell from the pollen tube. Seed germination is the result of active growth of the embryo, and this causes the rupture of the seed coat and the emergence of the young plant. There are major events that occur during seed germination, and we're going to talk through them one by one to see what is happening at each of these stages. The first one of these events is water imbibition. Water is absorbed through the openings of the seed coat and diffuses through the seed tissues. The imbibition of water causes the shrunken cells in the relatively dry seed to become swollen with liquid, or if we're talking about this in botanical terms, they become turgid. The entire seed grows in volume. The seed coat becomes more permeable to oxygen and carbon dioxide, and as swelling occurs, the seed coat often ruptures, facilitating both water and gas uptake and the emergence of growing points. The next major event is enzyme activation. Basically, once that water is absorbed into the seed tissue, this activates multiple types of enzyme systems. One breaks down stored tissues. A second one helps in the transfer of nutrients from storage areas to the growing points. And then the third one basically triggers chemical reactions, which use breakdown products in the synthesis of new material. Third major event is the initiation of embryo growth. So as soon as we get that enzyme activation occurring, new materials are synthesized, and then we see this reflected in the mass gain of the embryo. So we get an increase of that size. And then the last major event that occurs is the seedling emergence. The primary root is usually the first structure to emerge from the seed coat. This is ecologically very advantageous because it gives the seedling a chance to establish early root connection with the moist soil. Keeping in mind, this does vary from plant to plant, but in general, that is one way that this can happen. Overall, to summarize this, the embryo and stored food are protected by a seed coat. Seeds naturally are relatively dry. However, during the germination process, it is triggered by the availability of water or moisture around the seed, and this leads to all of our major events occurring.